Hey everybody, and welcome to the Meddling Kids podcast, a review of all things Scooby-Doo. I'm even less of a 49ers fan after this episode. I'm Stephen Pappas.
And I'm Julie Kin. We are talking about... Wait, what is this episode called?
It's called Mind Your Own Business.
Mine Your Own Business. Right. We're not just mispronouncing.
So
yeah, it's a good pun. It's a good pun. It's all about mining and possibly the Wild West, although it's unclear exactly where they are, as always. But
yes.
Before we get started talking about this episode, my question for you, Stephen, how much of an artist are you? Do you draw a lot?
I do not draw. No, art as far I write and I do the music thing, but drawing, no, not even a little bit. I'm terrible.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I draw for fun, but I'm certainly not artistic. I'm not the person to pick out colors for paint and things like that. So If I notice art and it looks really messed up, then that means it's exceptionally bad, because normally I'm like, yeah, sure, looks good. And the theme of this episode is characters drawn in really questionable ways, and that I think they needed an art director.
Oh, I didn't sleep last night because of one of them, and we will get to that because I've written literally like 6 things in all capital letters on my notes. And I don't think I know what happened for the rest of the episode after it happened.
Yeah, listeners, trigger warnings on this episode. If you're easily disturbed by fictional characters drawn weirdly, maybe just skip Mind Your Own Business.
Did you hate The Exorcist? Because...
Definitely room for comparison. Okay, my next question. How do you feel about birds? She asks, knowing the answer.
I hate birds. They scare me so bad. I've told this story on my podcast. I had to kick a goose in the face once because there was a circle of them closing in on me, and I needed to get away.
It was you or the geese?
I hate them. I swear to God, all the geese out there are like still like watching me. Like, that's the one that hurt our brethren. Like, keep an eye on him.
Right. It's like when you get stung by a wasp and then somehow you have like the wasp pheromone of like, this is the dude, get him.
Yep.
For all the others. Okay, well, I agree that birds are creepy. I think geese are probably some of the creepiest of birds. But the other, I think in cartoons, the creepiest of birds is vultures. And so, of course, there's a lone vulture watching over this entire episode, kind of like our Greek chorus. So we start off with a vulture peeking over the impoverished town of Gold City. Although
Very
there is
subtle.
Pardon?
I said it's very subtle. Like, it's just... that's the first thing I thought of, like, Gold City. Okay, well, we're doing this. All right.
That's true. There's like they threw in every single possible thing they could, like a main street with those like false facades that you see in old Western towns. I think the only thing we didn't, cacti and vultures, I don't think we saw like a spinning tumbleweed, but probably that animation was too difficult.
But we did see enough that I beg the question that I've asked, I think, every episode. Where are they?
Right.
Where does this take place? Have they traveled across the country, or are they still somewhere in, like, weird Western Florida?
Well, it's tricky because I think it's possible that Fred maybe has kidnapped everyone else and that he's in control, as we'll get to. So we see we're in Gold City. We don't know what state or county. And there is a really nice welcome sign, but the rest is all run down. And there's lots of thunder and lightning, of course. So it's a beautiful day in their perspective.
Absolutely.
And, yes. And we see a boarded up mine. And it's cleverly called the Old City Mine. So I guess there's...
Oh, is it? I just assumed that the sign had fallen over and, like, the G of gold had been covered.
Oh, that makes so much more sense. Because I was thinking, why would anyone name something that unless there's a new city mine? And they're like, well, better change the name of City Mine to Old City Mine.
This one's not. Nope, we got to change it.
I'm so glad we do this podcast together. Gold. Yeah, you're right. Because
it was too cynical.
Nope, you're absolutely right. Okay, an odd man walks by. He's got some severely hunched posture, possibly from panning gold. He has long gray hair, a gray beard, and a gray mustache. And his hat is pulled down over his eyes so much that all you can see of his face is a very distinguished aquiline nose.
Right.
Also, his vest. Did you notice the vest?
No. What about the vest?
A black vest, but it looks like a child-sized vest. I don't know. I could go down a nightmare path there of why is he wearing a young child's vest around?
Well, the thing that struck me most about this that I was distracted by for most of the episode is I'm pretty sure this is my college mascot.
Really? Where'd you go?
Yeah, I went to Appalachian, not Appalachian. We went there. We lived there. We say it right. Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina. The most country thing I could possibly say right now. And our mascot we're the Mountaineers. And it's literally just that guy, but with a rifle. And his name is Yosef.
Are you serious?
Yep.
No.
And there's a huge
Boone.
statue of him on campus, like doing like a victory pose. Like he looks like the Rocky statue, but with a gun in his hand and more Southern and a minor.
Oh my gosh! You've got to post a picture of that on Facebook. I want to see.
I will try to find that statue, a picture of that. I'm sure it's on their website somewhere.
When I hear Boone, I just think furniture makers, but now it's replaced by this dude.
You don't think Daniel Boone? I think that would be like no. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay. So this guy isn't doing anything illegal. He's just walking while weird, basically. Okay. So then, quick shift to the Scooby Gang driving through the Florida Beijing desert. Maybe?
Somewhere.
Somewhere. There's cacti, like we said. They're not actually on a road. It kind of looks like a scene out of Breaking Bad a little bit. They're just kind of driving through the desert. Everyone looks kind of calm about this, of course, because of, I don't know, I guess after you've been kidnapped for a while, your emotions kind of turn off. Fred says, are you sure we took the right turn, Shaggy? And by the way, all the 4 humans are sitting in the front seat, which is not very safe. So Shaggy, turns out, is holding the map upside down. Velma shows them where they really are. It's the old Gold City, the ghost town. Now, at this news, Shaggy, Scooby, and Daphne all are really surprised. But Fred's just like, yep. Because I think he probably had it planned the whole time. Now, this is one of those artistic moments I talked about. Daphne's face. Did you notice anything odd about her?
I did not.
Okay. Her face, her chin, and her neck are all like swollen and gigantic. And I think she either has a mononucleosis or some other inflammation of the lymph nodes due to an infection.
I did not notice that. I'm going to be completely honest. I had popped a melatonin about 30 or 45 minutes before this because I was like, I got through my whole day yesterday. I was like, recording in the morning, really excited. And then I was like, wait a minute, haven't watched the episode. Might need to do that.
You mean you're not just diagnosing everyone around you constantly with everything?
No, I was super chill until I saw the hell beast that came on the screen later. But I was like super chill and cool. Like I was very relaxed in a very Shaggy, marijuana-y type of way. But
so you took a Scooby snack.
I did. I took a Scooby snack.
Okay, well, so any questionable behavior from Daphne in this episode, we can just kind of chalk up to her being under the weather, for the record. So we see a vulture again, just to remind us, spooky. But what luck! Fred spots the Gold City Guest Ranch.
But it's a ghost town. It's a ghost town.
It either is or it isn't.
Yeah, there's not motels in a ghost town.
It has a vacancy.
It's an abandoned town.
Now, you're completely off the mark there, Stephen. I hate to differ with you, but ghost towns are like a major marketing thing. This is huge money. People pay tons of money to stay in ghost towns and to visit them. They're big tourist attractions. And if you have a haunted hotel, you will be sold out every night.
Huh. Interesting. No, I live very far from anywhere that has anything like that. So I feel like that's like
that you know of.
I was like, I just assumed ghost towns were just like empty towns that people just kind of like wandered into and looked around.
What about that mystery house? Isn't that by you?
That's not a house though. That's like a tourist attraction. Unless you're talking about the Winchester Mystery
House.
Yeah,
that's the one.
I don't know where that is. I can't remember. It's not in North Carolina.
Oh, never mind. Okay, it's somewhere else I've lived. Sorry.
One of those places.
But it was a house. There might be a ghost in it, and it's people pay money to walk through it. Okay. Anyway, let us know. Solve the mystery, because Google certainly will not help us out with that one. Nope. Okay, so Fred is like, oh, look, here we are, and there's a vacancy. And it's almost like he knew exactly where he wanted to go the whole time. This guest ranch looks like a dump. And I know that is really mean of me to say. And it's not that it's run down and an impoverished city. Like, I get that. But there just doesn't appear to be any architectural, structural integrity to this building. Like, the windows are built on a slant, etc. And it is a huge building. Velma reads us the sign, which is really helpful because there's... Because viewers like Steven at this point are like, words, meh.
Yeah, exactly. What are words? What is it? Oh, okay, old city mine. Like, okay. Calling me out. I'll throw it right back at you, Julie.
Okay, so Fred talks them into staying in this murder house. Go ahead, ring the bell, Shaggy, he says, which I love that. Like, he can't even do his own bidding. So the door creaks open, and we're expecting someone super scary. But it turns out it's a cross between Chris Farley and Daphne.
Which is even scarier. Like, when he opened the door, I immediately started writing furiously. I was like, Big Ben, this is his name. And Big Ben seems suspect.
Tell me about it. What could possibly be suspect about him?
Everything. It's just like this little abandoned ghost town. And then there's this dude. And he's the happiest, frilliest, like, man that I've ever seen in my life. He's too happy to be where he is.
Immaculately dressed.
Yes, in this like dusty old place where there's clearly rodents, and it's just
he's beautifully coiffed. Like, he spent a good half hour on his hair and mustache that morning. He is a large man, just like his name, Big Ben. He has bright red hair, the same color as Daphne's. He has a very distinguished purple neckerchief, same color as some of Daphne's clothes. That's why I thought they were kind of a Chris Farley Daphne mix there. He's extremely friendly and so thrilled to see a van full of children and Fred.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah. And he doesn't seem bothered by a giant Great Dane either. Especially since there's a vacancy there, so, why not? And by the way, did the kids phone home to let their parents know that they're going to be staying overnight in an abandoned ghost town? No, they did not. At least
they didn't
not
have parents in the 60s, right?
Oh, I don't know. I guess parents were super chill and laid back. Okay, so he calls for Hank, his, bellhop or, man at hand. Is that a thing?
Man, he's like I don't know. Yeah, bellhop is the closest thing, but he's not wearing the fun little bellhop outfit.
No, in fact, what is he wearing?
Basically the same outfit as the miner.
The exact same outfit as the walking weird guy.
So I immediately know it's not going to be him.
Right, because it looks exactly like him.
Right.
Same general build, same everything, same
just him
haircut.
Without the beard.
He doesn't have a beard, and he doesn't have a hat pulled over his face. Same mysterious child's vest. I mean, everything down to the boots. So, yeah, it is like clearly we're supposed to get the sense here that it's the same dude, but not in a hat and beard. So, meanwhile, Scooby sees a mouse trap, and he cleverly eats the cheese without deploying the trap using his opposable thumbs.
Now,
yes?
I need to talk about this.
Oh, really?
Because maybe it was the melatonin talking. But I was furious with this.
What?
Because Scooby just like, nabs that cheese and eats it, and the mouse comes out of the hole and does like the old school Hanna-Barbera mouse sounds and just like
shaking like really, an angry fist.
Yes, he's very angry. And my thought is like, oh, I'm sorry, mouse. I'm sorry for saving your life. I'm sorry that I ate the cheese that if you had gone for, your back would have been snapped. Like,
Fair.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I was really mad at the mouse. Like, I spent a few minutes stewing on that. So what happened next is kind of a blur.
Okay, well, I'll help you out. So, so Hank turns out to look just like the old dude. He's got a Western accent. He says, "Follow me." He separates the girls and boys by their sex. So Daphne and Velma are in one room and the rest are in the other. We don't get to actually see these rooms, but Daphne and Velma spend about 3 minutes telling us how great the rooms are and that they really like them and they don't understand why there's a vacancy here. And then Hank fills in for them. It's the minor 49er, which when he said that, I was like, really? That's the name you guys came up with?
Yeah, it's really creative.
and
in the background, by the way, the whole time, like every time something creepy would happen, what's the name of the song that's from? Oh My Darling Clementine. Like a weird, creepy version of that was playing.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
So, because that's where that name comes from.
Okay.
Or, well, that's where like in pop culture, because there's a lyric in the song. Am I sounding crazy?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I mean,
the song
Steven.
Do you know the song I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh my darling. Oh my darling. I don't remember anything about 49er.
The words at the beginning are like, in a cavern by a canyon, excavating for mine, lived a miner, 49er, and his daughter, Clementine. Yeah, like that's the words.
I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah, and so
I always just
hopefully we don't get copyright strike for that. But I think that's probably free use now.
Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, if the Scooby Gang could use it. Oh my gosh. Wow, what clever artistic license they took there. Very cool.
Right. They used all of that to work on that and not to draw the characters.
Right, exactly. Okay, so like that miner, this miner came to Gold City in 1849, and he can't rest until he finds the last vein of gold. He doesn't actually explain to us that this is a ghost. It could just be someone who's extremely old. But at any rate, there is this miner 49er searching for gold. While he's talking, because whenever we're hearing exposition, we usually get funny scene of Scooby doing something to entertain those of us who can't follow exposition. Scooby sees an eyeball in a keyhole of a door. Oh, I'm sorry. And so at night, everyone can hear this miner moaning, calling for the mine. And lately, it's been scaring the guests away. And Hank himself is planning on leaving in the morning. Which, again, if you put this out on the internet, people would be flocking here. But, okay. So Scooby sees an eyeball looking through a keyhole of a door. He bravely opens it, but nothing is there. We never get back to this. Like, even at the end of the episode, it's still unclear who would have been spying on them through this door.
I mean, I guess we're supposed to believe it's the miner, but due to the betrayal of everything I believe in my life toward the end of the episode, I don't think that's possible. So who knows?
I mean, I guess it's creepy Big Ben. I don't know.
Or the mouse. The mouse is still pissed about the cheese?
Yeah, that's it. Okay, perfect. Okay, Fred.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. Fred says, it's still early and the weather's perfect. Why don't we go into the ghost town and look around? Like, when they finally found safety in this not-so-creepy murder house, Fred's like, let's go hang out. But then this gets worse. He not only forces them all back into the van to go drive around, and they drive around the dilapidated town, and it looks pretty cool. I mean, for a ghost town, you know, like I said, it's got, like, those swinging saloon doors on all the buildings and stuff. Fred is all excited. What a spooky old street. They pass an Undertaker's, and as they drive past it, a shutter falls off, and this just does it for Shaggy. He finally stands up for himself, and he pretty much just begs Fred to return to the safety of the hotel. But Fred kind of bullies him a little. He parks the van like a parent does when kids are screaming in the back. And he says, not until we take a walk around the ghost town and see what we can find.
He's just he's the worst. Like, I literally, in all, like, caps, wrote, not until we take a walk around the ghost town. Like, no. He's such a bully, and I don't like him. I don't like Fred. I saw a pop vinyl, those little pop vinyls of Fred the other day, and I almost, like, bought it and then colored it to be, like, creepy and bloody and a serial killer, and then sent it to you in the mail just to terrify you.
That would do it, yeah. Especially if you didn't label it, like, who it's from.
Dang it. Oh, my plan is ruined.
Oh, man. I want to come up with some sort of alternate explanation where Fred has, like, a really good reason for all these actions. Because I still kind of want to like him, because I liked him as a kid, of course. You know, and I want to believe there's good in everyone. But this was just... I did not like when Shaggy has to go home and he parks the van. Remember, it's lightning and thundering out, and there's vultures on the loose waiting for them to perish.
I think we've got to get through the entire Scooby-Doo canon thinking Fred is the serial killer, and then at the end we'll have like an M. Night Shyamalan twist, and we'll figure out that he's not. So.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so they do. While they're walking, Shaggy has a really weird gait. Like he's walking with like high knees. It's really strange. Lightning flashes, and we see that the kids have walked past the original old dude. And at this point, I'm just going to call him Miner 49er because I think we're supposed to assume it's the Miner.
Right.
So far, kids, we've got Big Ben, Hank, and Miner 49er. Now, Velma is super excited to see a real old-time Western saloon. Shag and Scoob pretend to order sarsaparilla, and Miner 49er slides mugs, like, down the bar to them, which they're not too creeped out by, the fact that mugs appeared. They are creeped out that they are full of cobwebs.
Right, and we literally see hands slide them these mugs.
Right.
And they still are just like, meh. Like they don't see the hands slide them the mugs?
Right, or the mugs apparate. I mean, you know, creepy. But, oh well. So they're horrified because of the cobwebs. They call them spider webs. I'm guessing it's cobwebs, but either way, not great. So they're horrified. Oh, meanwhile, a player piano starts up. And one of them says, "Zoinks, ghosts!" Velma explains, no, it's just a player piano. And as a kid, I thought these were totally the bomb. Have you ever seen one in real life?
I have. I think they're really, really cool. That's all I could think the whole time. I was like, these are a thing. Like, why are they so terrified?
Right.
Like, it's a thing. Like, they've had them for like 200 years. Like, yep. It's okay.
It was like the first robots.
Right.
Now they're outside an old hotel. Do you remember what it was called?
I do not. Like, everything.
Do you want to take a guess?
Everything within me wants to say, because it's the Scooby-Doo universe, it just says hotel.
That's right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
I was going to say, I saw the Undertaker thing, but I almost was like, an Undertaker hotel? But no, it's got to just say hotel.
Hotel.
Like museum or farm.
Exactly. Or Old City Mine.
There you go.
So they push poor Scoob in first. By the way, they are in so many dusty places. I'm really concerned it's going to affect their respiration at some point. And Shaggy looks rather asthmatic to me, just saying. So if we, in the next episode, hear like a lot of coughing and sneezing, we'll know why. And difficulty breathing, of course. You know how, like, after you move from one house to another and after you've done all the cleaning and stuff, you have, like, the best snot the next couple of days?
No.
No? Okay, pay attention, kid.
I think that's just you. No,
I make amazing snot.
I'm so proud of you, too.
Thank you. Okay. Anyway, Scooby. So they of course are breaking and entering into all these places. They walk. Yeah,
because Fred immediately is like, "Let's go in this hotel," and like I'm like, "Oh God, we're gonna get a Shining type of situation, aren't we?"
Yeah. Frankly, I think Fred had this all planned the whole time to go to this specific hotel. Scooby and Shaggy are scared by a branch grabbing Shaggy's shirt, and they end up in a tree.
Come on. I mean, I know it's a kid's cartoon.
Yes.
But and again, maybe it was the melatonin talking because I was real drowsy, but that's the most impressive tree branch
I have very
ever
stretchy.
seen. Because it caught them. They walked like literally yards and yards away, and then it just like snatched them back, never breaking, never doing anything.
Is that what rubber trees do?
I don't
Is that
know.
a thing? Okay.
Maybe. We're going to sound
Are
real
you an
dumb
arborist?
if we say yes. Yeah, I am, actually.
Oh,
I have
now
an impressive knowledge of trees.
Excellent. We can just make stuff up. It's internet entertainment. Y'all get
Exactly.
what you pay for. Okay. Daphne says the only place we haven't looked is the old mine. Now, Velma says, I'm beginning to think there isn't really an ancient miner. Now, when she says this, she says it like very straightforward. But if this is the X-Files, Velma's very much a Scully type, right? So she would have said it like really sarcastic like this. I'm beginning to think there isn't really an ancient miner, with air quotes. But anyway. So Daphne is clearly saying, we've searched everywhere. Let's either check out the old mine or go back to the hotel. Fred, on the other hand, says, let's keep moving. He completely dismisses Daphne's suggestion, and he just makes them keep searching around the old hotel, which is why I think that was like his ultimate destination to begin with.
He's the worst.
Yeah. Scooby plays in a mirror, and while he's playing, he sees Miner 49er's reflection, and then the reflection comes out and, like, in 3D tries to grab, I mean, not 3D, in 2D, of course, it's a cartoon, but, like, physically tries to come out and grab him, and there's a chase scene!
Yay.
Yeah.
A slightly racist chase scene, by the way, but
yeah.
we'll get into that.
Yeah, Scooby gets caught in curtains, he runs past, he runs past a racist thing. Now, let's get into this. I thought at first it was some sort of sarcophagus in like a Western theme, because there's clearly like some sort of native tribal looking mask, like an indigenous mask at the very top of the sarcophagus thing. And then at the bottom, like, I don't know, a bull's skull or something like that. And the curtain pulls it along, and there's a big crash. And they say, oh, it's actually a cigar store Indian. Now, do you know what yes. So, do you know what a cigar store Indian is? I know you're young.
I do. I've seen enough like of them in movies and stuff. I mean, actually there are cigar stores around here that I think still have them.
Oh, seriously? Oh man, North Carolina,
yeah.
come on.
I know, right? Yeah, a little weird. I just wrote down like, is this a little racist? Because like, so the thing gets caught on Shaggy's shirt.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. And so he thinks he's being chased.
Right.
Because it is attached to his shirt. And as he's running, there's this like really stereotypical Native American music playing.
Oh, I didn't notice that, but yeah.
And I was just like, I just want to like separate from my body and run away. Like,
yeah,
I'm
it was
not
yucky.
Comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, so far this show, I mean, okay, granted we're only on episode 4, but we've had an entirely Caucasian Eurocentric cast so far, except for the dog. Well, no, he's not even human, so he doesn't count there. No offense, Scoob. So that's already, like, you would want in season 1 to have at least some ethnic variation here, right? And then we see this. It ain't great. It doesn't, I will give them this, though. It doesn't look like the stereotypical cigar store Indians that you see in cigar stores and on Seinfeld and you know, I mean, it definitely looked like an odd sarcophagus. So maybe the animators either didn't know what a cigar store Indian looked like. And when I say cigar store Indian, I'm using that in quotes. Because I don't want to call it a Native American or indigenous statue, since it's not. It was probably made by racist white people. So, you know, let's just keep calling it a cigar store Indian to make it clear that we are not talking about like actual Native or indigenous art. Anyway, so just for the record, Steven and I do not approve.
No,
Fair?
do not approve.
And as always, you can direct all complaints to Steven.
No, stop. I can't handle it.
Okay, sorry. Never mind. Okay.
Yell at Julie.
Okay, perfect. I can take it. All right. It's hollow inside, but there's a map. Convenient. Because why not? And it's a map that looks like it's new. It's not hand-drawn. It looks like computer-generated or something. I don't know. They can tell it's new. And there's some mysterious numbers on the map. Left 10, or L10, R7, L4, R23. And my first thought was, oh, cheat codes.
Yes.
I was just thinking.
Up, down, left, right.
Exactly.
BA select start. Can I just say, when this happened, they found this inside of the cigar store Indian. Its head had popped off.
Mm-hmm.
They find it inside, and Fred is like, "This is a great place to hide a map." He says something to that effect, and all I can think is he's going, "I could hide the blueprints for my murder castle here."
Right.
That's all I could think the whole time, and then I got distracted by that for a while. So
I like the style of whoever's behind this caper.
Exactly. This guy's smarter than I am. I'm going to take a play out of his book later on.
By the way, can I maintain the fact that still we don't have any hint of any illegal activity? The kids are investigating purely for Fred's adrenaline rush.
Right. Yeah, nothing weird has really happened outside of the weird 3D mirror thing. And it's not like he's done anything wrong. He just kind of creeped out the dog, so...
Right, and they are breaking and entering. I mean, somebody owns this
drink.
property. Right. So I would not... stand your ground laws, right? I'm sure that's a thing wherever this is taking place. Okay, so they decide it's actually directions to a buried treasure. That's Daphne's thought. Shaggy says, ooh, like a fortune of chocolate cheeseburgers. Again, with the meat covered in chocolate.
I mean...
He's not wrong. It would be a fortune.
I'm a large man. I have indulged in chocolate-covered bacon.
Yeah, me too.
And I will say, it is pretty good. So maybe he's on to something.
I don't know. I'm seriously just now starting to doubt his palate. The marshmallow sardine sandwiches, I can't say. It sounds like salty sweet mixed together. Sure, why not? Chocolate-covered hot dogs? Who hasn't? But this one...
Me, I haven't.
So then Velma says maybe it's a safe combination. And Fred magically knows, oh, there's a combination safe in this hotel. So
it's where I lock my victims.
Right. That's why I'm thinking Fred took them here specifically. He saw something on the deep web about, hey, in this hotel, come check it out. Everyone's like, sure. So commercial break. Now, I know that was a startling commercial break there, but that's kind of how it happened in the episode. So we get a break before we get to find out about this safe. So, Stephen, how about we take a little commercial break and hear about some of our favorite podcasts?
Let's do it.
Do you like movies?
Get busy living or get busy dying.
Mr. Anderson.
Life, finds a way.
TV?
A girl has no name.
Soft kitty, warm kitty.
You didn't think I'd just disappear, did you?
Music?
Hello, all my friends are heathens, take it slow. Girls run the world, girls.
Video games?
It's me, Mario.
Get over here!
If you love geeking out about your pop culture passions, See Here's the Thing may be the podcast for you. Join me and my co-host Patrick as we dive into a weekly digest of news clips about movies, TV, video games, theater, and more. Special guests, improv games, and terrible celebrity impersonations abound in our weekly episodes published directly on Podomatic. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Google Play. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google+, and Pinterest. See Here's the Thing. It's where humor and pop culture collide.
Okay, you guys ready to find out about the safe?
Sort of.
Come on, it's gonna be great. So
I'm very excited.
Okay, yeah, I can tell. They use the combination. Scooby tries to open the safe. It's already unlocked. It's a secret elevator. Now, there's a secret elevator in an abandoned building that apparently has no electricity because it's been really dark the whole time in an abandoned town with no grown-ups around. So, yeah, sure, we'll get in there and operate it. So, just little warning for those of you listening with children, don't do that.
No. Don't. Well, even if you're listening without children, don't do that.
Right.
Just as a person.
Yeah.
Don't get in an abandoned elevator, ever, anywhere, because elevators can be terrifying, especially this one, which I want to point out, if you didn't notice, it doesn't lower down.
What do you mean?
It plummets from where it is to the mine, and all I could think was, oh, they're all dead.
Yeah, it was not a gentle landing.
No.
Yeah. Oh, man. Just to be safe, how about everyone just don't use elevators at all anymore?
Right. And but before, because this is a running theme, before they get in the elevator, Scooby's like, "No, I'm not doing that." Scooby's the smartest of all of them.
Yes.
And Daphne's like, "Would you do it for a Scooby snack?" And he's like, "Rue?" And she's like, "Yeah, fine, too." And here's my issue.
Okay.
Does he ever do anything for one Scooby snack?
Oh,
I'm waiting for the episode where he's like, "Would you do it for a Scooby snack?" And he's like, all right. Like, yeah, I could do that.
That's a good point. No, he's been negotiating this whole time.
I think he's smarter than all of them, except for maybe Velma, who likes to point out her smartness.
And it takes her a while to come around, whereas Scooby immediately is like, danger? No, thank you. I would rather not, please.
He's the most adult out of all of them.
Definitely. Also, we see one of his gags that we'll see repeated throughout the entire series where they say, "Come on, Scooby, you're not chicken." And then he acts like he's a chicken for a while, and it's pretty cute.
Yes. He's the opposite of Marty McFly.
Right, exactly. Yes, in many ways, actually. Not just that. Okay, yeah, Daphne bribes him with 2 Scooby snacks. These negotiations take, quite a while, by the way. They devote, 5 minutes to it. The elevator plummets, and wow, look where we landed, Fred says without sounding surprised at all, because, again, he knew about this, I think, beforehand. And we see the minor 49er lurking in the background. Shaggy, it's very dark in here, so they need candles. So, of course, Shaggy finds a box of big red candles and dynamite. Hey, I found some candles. Now, this is pretty exciting. He lights them and then tries to blow it out. And then I'm waiting for one of the other kids to, come help him. But no, he just tosses them to the side. It blows up some, I don't know, support structures, but no one's hurt at all.
Yeah, apparently dynamite just doesn't do anything because he throws 3 sticks of lit dynamite 10 feet to the left of him, and there's poof.
Right. Now, it's possible that people are still working in this mine or down here, and that these children have broken in, lit dynamite, blown up random stuff, and injured somebody. But no, they're not the criminals.
No, of course not. They're never the criminals.
Never the criminals. They walk far enough to find part of the mine that's recently been lit by lanterns. Again, could be humans down here. Don't just go blowing stuff up. And then a spooky voice is like, "Ooh." Velma says, "That must be the moan." And I'm thinking, or someone has been really injured by a recent explosion. Right. I mean, even if they weren't in the explosion, that can reverberate and still hurt someone. So Fred says, "Let's split up. I'll go this way with Daphne and Velma." So what's your theory there, Steven?
I don't know. I think that they may be in an open relationship at this point, which if that's what they want to do, that's fine as long as they're all consenting adults. But I don't know. It's more and more it's becoming Velma, Daphne, and Fred all go off and do their own thing. So I don't know how I feel about my Fred and Daphne off for love theory anymore.
Maybe it usually is off for love, but I mean, a mine isn't really a place to get it on.
That's fair. But in my defense, neither is a haunted castle or a weird submarine boat thing, but they didn't have any problems there. So
okay, fair enough. All right. Or it could be something else among consenting adults, which is just great. So Shaggy and Scooby whistle for their safety as they're walking along because they're kind of freaked out. Scooby plays a funny trick on Shaggy to make it look like there's a big ghost behind him. It makes a scary shadow, and that really freaks out Shaggy. But then he figures out, it was just Scoob and his tricks. Then they come across 4 doors, 2 on each side. And of course, it's one of those, I don't know, they devote another 10 minutes to this scene.
This gag went on for a long time. A long time.
Yeah, they must have run out of plot or something. So Scooby tells Shag to look at a door. Or they both look indoors. In Scooby's door, right behind it, of course, is Minor 49er. He slams it shut, tries to tell Shaggy. Shaggy doesn't believe. Shaggy comes and looks. Nobody's there. Shaggy thinks it's just another one of Scooby's hilarious pranks, like the shadow thing. And then
I'm shocked that Shaggy came and looked and understood what was happening because Scooby clearly started speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
It was not his usual thing.
I mean, Scooby isn't usually extremely easy to understand, but this was worse than normal.
Right. I was very confused.
Yeah, he was trying to act out a big scary guy and lots of pointing and grunting.
Right.
Yeah. So lots of shenanigans here with opening and closing doors, and every time Scooby opens the door, it's the miner, but Shaggy never sees it until the very end. Okay, now this might not have appeared very funny to you, but let me tell you who this was hilarious to. The laugh track. They had the laugh track loved this. Whoever was editing this episode added in several grown man guffaws here. They wanted this to be the big hilarious scene. So it made me enjoy it more, of course, because when I hear laugh tracks, I know I'm enjoying things.
Sure.
Finally, they find the miner both together and they run away. They try to hide behind another door down the passage, but oh man, we never get back to this. They see Fred all gray, and I don't know if he's supposed to be covered in cement or...
No, he fell through a hole and fell into flour.
Really? Did that happen?
Yeah,
Did we see
into
that?
bags of flour, which I assume they were trying to be oh, the miner is doing that to make himself look more ghostly, but the miner doesn't look ghostly,
No,
so I don't know why they fell.
pink.
But no, yeah, he fell into bags of flour and was standing behind the door. And this is the first time in the series, by the way, and I was really excited that we get the line a ghost, and I was so pumped. And then my excitement turned to horror.
Why?
Because of what happened, and it's the thing that you pointed out to me that I can't unsee. But first there was some crashing through barrels and some clear head injuries.
Yeah, and I still didn't. I missed the thing about flour. I'm so glad you pointed that out because I kept waiting to find out why was Fred all ghostly. It did look creepy. They basically had an outline of Fred's shape, just not colored in. It was kind of cool. They escape in a mine cart, and the miner... Oh, wait, is this the part that I texted you about, or is that later?
Well, they escape in the mine cart, and the miner gets in the mine cart that is latched to them.
Right.
And so they start flying down the hill, and the Scooby pulls the pin, and so they go faster, but then they're out of control, and they go flying out of the mine cart through some barrels and clearly hurt their head. And about this time is the moment that I died a little inside.
Tell us all about it.
So I don't remember much of what happened before or after. I think Daphne falls down a shaft.
Oh yeah. Okay. So right, they crash. They happen to crash their minecart right where the other kids are, and they're like, "Oh, Scooby and Shaggy." And oh, I see it in my notes now. I just hadn't scrolled down. It's all in caps. So before the thing, we're building this up way too much. That listeners
no, we're
going to be
not.
super...
We are not.
Listeners are going to be disappointed until they watch it themselves and pee their pants.
Yes.
So they're all talking, and then Fred turns around and says, Daphne was there a minute ago, but what happened to Daphne now? And then we hear, I fell down here. It's like she hadn't screamed or yelped or anything. She was waiting for them to ask about her before she announced it, of course. And then Fred says, wouldn't you know it, danger-prone Daphne fell into a mine shaft. And when he says this...
His head...
Do you want me to just say it?
His head is backwards on his body. His head is backwards on his body. And I don't like it.
He's not turning his shoulders around. I mean, his body is facing one way.
It's bobbing, kind of, and I don't... Oh. And
he just is talking calmly and normally, but his head is backwards.
I hate it so much. It haunted my dreams, and legitimately, I blanked out for a solid whatever happened next.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let you explain, because the next notes I have written down are a while into the episode, because I lost it.
So I'll help you out here, and just take some deep breaths, and just remember, it's just a cartoon, mostly, probably.
Is it? There were some movies.
Probably. It's never going to happen, most likely. Probably. Okay, so Scooby is very brave. He volunteers to pull out Daphne, but of course she did have the stash of Scooby snacks in her pocket, so maybe he's a good doggy and would have rescued her anyway, but also the Scooby snacks. Oh no, he doesn't pull up Daphne, he pulls up Minor 49er instead. But then he drops him.
I don't remember this.
You don't remember?
I don't remember any of this. I was too disturbed. I'm like riveted. I'm hanging on every word.
Okay, excellent. Well, we never actually see how Daphne gets out, but all of a sudden she's there with them, and she looks immaculate. Not a hair is out of place. She is just amazing. And she says, there's a maze of passages down there, but they hear some spooky moaning again. Maybe it's the injured miner who is working down there, who Scooby just dropped on his head, who is now even more hurt. We don't know. Velma finds a clue, which I would not have thought of a clue. It's just a wire that leads someplace. Like, mines have wires. You need electricity. But anyway, Fred says, now things are beginning to make a little sense. Because
are they, Fred? Are they?
Yeah, are they really? This wire is leading to a speaker. Velma says, I have a hunch what we'll find at the other end of the wire. And so from a speaker, what could it possibly be at the other end? I was right. A tape recorder. Well, yeah, duh. It's going to be something that can produce sound. But okay. Yes, Velma, you're brilliant. Calm down. Fred says that accounts for the mysterious moaning. Now, I don't know about that. I think it's probably very likely that in a mine, there's going to be a speaker system saying things like, explosion in 3, 2, 1. I mean, and like
every
warning
mine
messages.
I've ever been in, that's what happens.
Right. And that's all the notice you get, right? So at any rate, at that time, they also find several open jars of crude oil, which Fred recognizes immediately for what it is, even though the other kids think it might be chocolate syrup. And by the way, at this point, still no evidence of a crime. All we know is the kids have broken into a mine, blown some stuff up, dropped a dude on his head, and oil exists here.
Right,
So,
and I would like to add, by the way, at this point, I still didn't know what was going on because I was still disturbed about the head. So
it was really creepy, everyone.
Immediately following this is where I come back into the picture, so I'm very excited to finally be aware of what's happening.
Okay, good. I'm glad we can fill in the gaps for each other. It's very helpful. I'm learning lots from this podcast. I'm sure our listeners are too. Fred has them steal a microphone, and they come up with a trap. So they know that there's a man, an innocent, injured man, potentially innocent, wandering around these mines with probably a severe concussion and maybe some lacerations and abrasions. They pretend to be a train by taking one of the mine carts, a big lamp, and using the microphone and the speaker system to make train noises. And they pretend to be a train going on the track to scare the miner.
Now,
yes,
this is where I came back in because a comment was made that shook me out of my stupor. And that is, Shaggy is making sounds.
Yes.
For the train car going down the tracks. And Velma, to add on to my Velma is Shaggy's mother theory, Velma, like a very proud mother, says the most awkward comment ever of, listen to that Shaggy go. Like, she's just so proud of him.
Maybe she is his mother.
I think so.
Okay, I think that gives some good weight to...
Oh my gosh, in the last episode he had blonde hair for a second. What if he is the love child of Fred and Velma? Oh my god.
And that's why Fred keeps him around despite his clear impairments.
Oh my god. Oh, I've blown it wide open. Anyway, continue with the plan.
We're going to keep looking for evidence of this. So... as one would expect, this really freaks out the miner. He runs away into a tool shed where Fred locks him in. Because, of course, Fred is pretty excited to have a captive. Still, no evidence of any crime, except that now they are holding someone imprisoned. Uh-oh, Scooby, who is on this pretend train, also crashes into the tool shed, presumably right into this poor guy. And this is where it gets really sad for this poor human, because Scooby is somehow crashes onto him, and they both are over a ledge. this minor 49er dude is hanging onto the ledge. Scooby is hanging on to his feet.
With his opposable thumbs.
With his opposable thumbs. But it's just not enough because the boots fall off the guy and Scooby crashes. We don't hear a lot of yelping and Scooby seems okay. So let's just assume for the sake of our sanity, Stephen, that Scooby is just fine and that the ground was like rocky but soft.
Kind of marshmallowy.
Marshmallow.
That's what I picture.
Okay, I want to go with that, just for sake of mind. Now, there is a human who has gone through quite a bit in the last hour or so, hanging from a ledge. Do the kids help him up off the ledge? No, they interrogate him. Fred pulls off the miner's beard wig. I don't know what else you would call that, because he still has hair. Fake beard.
Beard wig, snout mouth. Same
snout
thing.
mouth. Yeah, his snout mouth cover. And instead of helping him up, it's Hank wearing stilts.
I'm so upset about that.
Tell me why.
Because Hank was clearly the guy dressed exactly like the miner. And so I was like, oh, it's clearly not him. And he seems so nice and sweet. And I legitimately, I feel betrayed by Hank, personally. I was just like, Hank, I trusted you.
I feel betrayed by the artist in charge of this episode again. This is the third bit of art that bothered me because I should have mentioned earlier, Big Ben is really tall. I mean, he's big. He's not just big wide, he's big tall. And I guess we were supposed to put together that Minor 49er is also exceptionally tall, but the way they drew him, he just looked like normal height. And they didn't put in a lot of visual clues like extra long legs or something like that. And to me, he just looked exactly like Hank, but with a beard wig over his snout mouth and a big hat. So, I think if they had made him look extra tall and wide, more like Big Ben, that would have been more of a red herring.
Right. I was just so let down. My notes literally stop here because I just wrote, not Hank in all caps. I feel betrayed. And then ... I question everything and everyone now.
You had a rough night.
That was the end of my notes.
Aw, Steven. Well, then, let me help you out because then Hank says, "Oh, dag-nabbit," which I just love when people say dag-nabbit.
I think I've said that.
I think you probably have
on many occasions.
It's great. That's a good saying. So then we're in a completely different scene talking with Big Ben. I'll share a new theory with you in a minute, but Big Ben says, "So, it was old Hank who was scaring off my guests." And Fred explains to force you out of business. And then Velma and Daphne are explaining so that he could buy everything because you would be, out of business, and then he could get the oil on his own. And of course, while the humans are discussing the finer points of this plot, things like, but how did Hank know about the oil? He accidentally found the secret location. Okay. Scooby finds an apple tree, and he uses the stilts to collect the apples and falls into an old-timey bath, but he's still happy to have his apples. But here's my theory. Oh, they also casually mentioned that now Hank is in jail instead of going into business potentially like he could have done with Big Ben. So here's my theory. Big Ben and Hank had been partners here this whole time, and they both had known about the oil. This is certainly not like a one-man operation. Potentially, they were both working on scaring off the guests and things like that, either to build up their business as a ghost house or just to scare people off so they could get the crude oil. But now that these children have intervened and thoughtfully gotten rid of Hank, maybe in jail or maybe in a hospital setting, now Big Ben gets to collect all the oil on his own.
It's hard to do it as a one-man operation, though. I like to imagine they didn't send him to jail because technically he's done no wrong.
Right.
I like to imagine that they just kind of left him in the mine, and Big Ben goes down later once they leave, and they just resume the operation. It's nothing changes. They've established nothing. And yet again, at no point in this episode do we get the line, "I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you." When does that happen?
I don't know. Maybe it's not even in this season.
Maybe it's not even in Scooby. Maybe it's like the Berenstain Bears thing. Maybe we're all making it up, and we've misnamed this podcast terribly.
No, I have so many questions. One, okay, first of all, no. We could not have all this shared fake memory, although I guess that could be a thing.
Mandela effect.
Yes, we could get into like Jungian archetype theories. Anyway, here's my question for you. What about Berenstain Bears? Are you talking about how everyone calls it Berenstain, even though that's totally not what it's called? Or is there
how
something
every
else?
single person no, it's part of the Mandela effect. Everyone remembers that it was Berenstain, like EIN, and not Berenstain, AIN, but everybody remembers it one way, but apparently it's been the other way the whole time and we all just didn't realize. And so it's this like theory that we're all living in an alternate universe. That's why it's called the Mandela effect. I think it's because most people thought that Nelson Mandela was dead for so long, but he wasn't.
Oh my gosh. Incredible.
Like, it's just like this, like, we all think one thing. Like, everybody believes that the line is, Luke, I am your father, but it's not. Coming from a nerd, the line is, no, I am your father. And so, yeah, I'm nerdy. I got nerdy.
No, this is awesome.
But
again, learning a lot.
Maybe Meddling Kids doesn't exist. Maybe we don't exist.
Oh my gosh!
God, I question everything.
Spooky. Well, okay, let's move on from this because I am freaking out. On to this week's meddling question. This one was submitted by my husband, who wants to be called Olaf, so that no one figures out who he really is.
Is Olaf his name?
No, it's Jason.
Well, his wishes have been dashed against the rocks there, but okay.
Just because I'm doing stupid things on the internet, he doesn't necessarily want the taint to extend to him. You can keep all that in, by the way. Yeah, about like, I don't know, by episode 26 or 27 of the Station Wagon podcast, after we'd been on the air for like 2 years, he's like, oh yeah, can you change my name? So anyway, Olaf, in quotes, says, oh gosh, where did I write it? Sorry. What is in the Scooby snacks? Is it MJ? And
Mary Jane?
Yeah, I'm presuming that he means marijuana, but because Olaf is so pure of mind, he can't bear to write the whole word out.
Well, it's more disturbing because if he doesn't mean marijuana, the only other thing I could think of is like Michael Jackson, in which case it's like some sort of weird cannibalistic, I don't know.
Olaf. No wonder he didn't want me to use his real name. That's disgusting.
His theories are scary and disgusting.
Oh, gosh.
The answer is clearly yes, by the way.
So I spent some time Googling the effects of marijuana on canines. It turns out, yeah, dogs can get high. Even they can get high from secondhand smoke if you blow it into their face or if they're just around you. And as you would expect, it's terrible for them, so don't do it. But it could be. So you do think it's marijuana in Scooby snacks?
Sure. That sounds right.
I will play devil's advocate here. I think it's probably a fine mixture of peanut butter, flour, salt, and baking powder. Just like your standard, like, dog treats. And that they're keeping him at a slightly low body weight so that he's always hungry.
Julie, you're such a square.
No, it's not because I'm a square. I just don't think marijuana is addictive enough to induce the kind of repetitive, okay, I am a square. But
maybe it just takes his anxiety away.
Yeah, but then why is he constantly wanting more and more and more in this weird way, unless there's like cocaine or an upper in it? I just
unless there's peanut butter and marijuana in it. What if it just tastes good and it makes him chill?
Okay, you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
There you go.
Yeah, peanut butter is good, unless you're allergic, but I like it.
Yeah.
Or if you're from one of them countries where they don't do peanut butter. Okay, if you have...
Wait.
I think we completely killed it on that question and answered it without any subsequent doubt. So if you have a meddling question, you can send it to us at meddlingkidspod@gmail.com. You can tweet it at us, or just join us on Facebook. We are at meddlingkidspod.
Sure. Thanks also to Dave Seste for the use of our song Night Surfing as our theme music.
Such a good song. I really like it.
I enjoy it so much.
I'm
also off to Google about countries where peanut butter is not allowed because I'm real disturbed by that. But go on.
Not that it's not allowed. I just mean like people there don't eat it. They're like, what? Peanut butter? Why would you?
Oh, I thought it was like outlawed by the government. So I was like, oh my God.
North Korea. Maybe. Okay, if you find that it's outlawed someplace, please let me know. It's definitely outlawed in my children's schools, so I wouldn't be shocked. Also, please check out our other shows. Is This Adulting with Steven and Chris, and the Station Wagon podcast with my brother and me. I'll have some more podcasts down the road that I may or may not get to talk about on air, but you can Google me and find out. That was really vague. Sorry. Feel free to delete that. And we'll be back next time with episode 5, which I don't remember what it is.
It is called Decoy for a Dognapper.
Oh, no! A Dognapper?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I need to watch that tonight, I think. That sounds really good. Okay. In the meantime, please rate us and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get podcasts.
Absolutely. And I think that is going to do it for us here this week on the Meddling Kids podcast. And listen, guys, I don't know what you did this week, but I think it's fair to say you would have gotten away with it, too, if it weren't for us meddling kids.
Stay spooktacular.
It's different every week. I love it.
And equally dumb every week, too.
I love it. Just embrace it.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah.